Are you keeping up with this season of The Bachelor? Did you see Monday's episode? Yes, we're talking about the fence jump. This may be one of the most shocking moments we've ever seen in Bachelor history, and here's why. What's up, guys? I'm Alexis with TheTrendy, and I'm here to give you all the details as to why Monday night's episode of The Bachelor left us thinking, what on earth is going on? Now, you may be thinking that this episode was shocking because Cassie leaving makes 4 self-eliminations in this season, which is a Bachelor record. But that's not actually why. The 5th member to be self-eliminated from The Bachelor was The Bachelor himself. How do you have The Bachelor without The Bachelor? This makes 5 self-eliminations in one season. And we don't really know what happens now that The Bachelor eliminated himself. So let me break down all the details for you and tell you all about the undying love for Cassie that he has, and then the fence jump. Now, first of all, the show states that the reason that they have the show is to send off the Bachelor or Bachelorette with the love of their life. Now, in this episode, we see that that might not always be the case. Maybe they're putting the drama first. Does that surprise you? Now, the show starts off normal as usual, with Colton and Chris Harrison, the hosts, talking about Colton's virginity, which seems to be their #1 topic of discussion. Then Colton took off for his date with Tayshia, and the season's destination was Portugal. They do the typical dinner, helicopter ride, conversation, and then they head back to Colton's suite, which already has a bathtub full of bubbles and champagne on the ledge ready to be sipped. But much to Tayshia's dismay, nothing happened that night, and it was perfectly bland. And we all know why. You see, Colton's not that great at throwing people off of his true feelings. We all know that he's head over heels for Cassie, even though her dad said no to the blessing of the proposal at the end of the season. This left her questioning things more than usual, but Colton brought her to Portugal anyway. But here's the real kicker. Not only was Cassie, Tayshia, and Colton all in Portugal, but we had a surprise guest, Cassie's father. Yes, they brought in her father, which tells us that they want to stir up a little drama. They're not looking for this happily ever after like we thought. Cassie's dad ended up giving her some very fatherly advice, and it really helped her to make a decision, although maybe not the one that Colton wanted. He said that she seemed conflicted and that there shouldn't be any hesitation in your mind when you meet somebody that you want to spend the rest of your life with. Poor Cassie was crying when she reminded her dad of something that he always says. "You always say, 'I never doubted it,' with Mom." And I'm like, I don't think I'll ever feel that way. Now, cue the most painful and longest scene we've ever had in Bachelor history, because poor Colton did not see this breakup coming, no matter how many red flags there were. Actually, let's cut to the red flags. First, let's take a look at a few very important conversations. Colton said, "But if it's not with the person at the end of this I feel the strongest for and the most potential with, then it's not worth it." And Cassie said, "I hate that you say that," aka because she knows that he has the most feelings for her and she doesn't plan to leave with him. Cut to another conversation between the two of them, and Colton says, "You know how I feel about you. How do you feel?" And Cassie says, "I think like, I don't know. I know how I feel, but I want to be sure." Colton then tells the camera, "I wanted her to say I'm falling in love with you so bad. I care for Cassie a ton. I see so much potential and so much hope in our relationship, and I don't have her father's blessing. Now I'm more confused than ever. I have no clue what I'm gonna do." Now, this should have been the moment that he realized that Cassie just wasn't quite into it. But unfortunately he didn't. He just kept trekking ahead, even though her mom even told him, "This concerns me. Has Cassie told you how she feels?" And he had to respond, "No." Not to mention when Tayshia told him several times that she had concerns about Cassie. And then Kirpa reminded him that after his speech in Vietnam, Caitlyn and Cassie started to panic, which someone would only do if they were there for the wrong reasons. Otherwise, there's no need to worry at all. But again, Colton chooses not to see these red flags, or at least to ignore them, even though 2 women in the house have said they have major concerns, and her parents have also given him major concerns. Not to mention, she won't tell him how she feels. And somehow the poor guy just didn't see this breakup coming. Now, after Cassie broke Colton's heart and told him that she was leaving, he tried his best to convince her to stay, saying that the season didn't have to end in a proposal, they could just continue getting to know each other, and she still declined. Which he then finishes off the statement, "I'm not going to stop fighting for you," leaving the 2 other girls in a kind of odd predicament, because now they're knowing that they are his second choice. After Cassie revealed that her father had actually been in Portugal with her, and that's how she came to this decision, Colton realizes that maybe the producers have stirred this up for themselves and they wanted him to lose out in the end. It makes him very angry. He walks Cassie to the SUV, locks himself in his room, and then storms out, shoving a camera out of his face and ripping the mic off before leaping over this giant fence because he is thoroughly done with the show. Chris Harrison, the host, showed up and tried chasing after him, but then later told E, "After a few minutes I quickly realized we lost the Bachelor. Like, we do not know where he is at all, and we're yelling and running around. I thought I heard him and I thought I heard some dogs, so I'm sprinting down the street and yelling his name like a lunatic, and then I'm calling back to the US like, guys, what are you gonna do? I'm like, at some point we have to call the authorities." We decided we were gonna give it about 5 minutes more and then we were gonna call the cops. But they did eventually find him, and now we have several episodes left. So what do you think is gonna happen? He's already self-eliminated himself, so does he send home Hannah and Tayshia? Hannah hasn't even gone on a date with him yet. You think he's gonna spend this time chasing after Cassie and wiping away all of her fears of relationships? I guess only time will tell. Until then, I'm Alexis with TheTrendy. Make sure that you're subscribed for more videos just like this.